Hey folks, Living once again. If you haven't heard it already, Happy New Year. We are in 2024 now. Welcome back to another movie review. And this is my first movie review of 2024. Yeah, because my last one was RoboCop 2. It was in 2023, now we're in 2024 now, so... So welcome to my first movie review of 2024. So... Then I got plenty more to come this year. So like I said, we're in the 90s era of superhero movies. Continue that. This time I am reviewing a movie that came out again in 1990. It's a superhero film, directed and co-written by Sam Raimi, starring Liam Neeson. Very underrated movie, I think. And this film was called Darkman. I love this movie. Probably his best superhero movie. I personally say it's better than his Spider-Man movies, in my opinion. And Spider-Man 2 doesn't win. It's definitely one of the best superhero movies out there, but I would put this over Spider-Man 2, just in my opinion. Spider-Man 2 wasn't perfect. This film isn't perfect either. I do have some issues with it, but I can let the issues slide. Because those Spider-Man films aren't perfect either. They have problems either. Some of them haven't even aged well, but this I think has aged pretty well. You know. Again, Sam Raimi would go on to direct other superhero movies. You know, like I said, the Spider-Man films, trilogy, in the 2000s with Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst. And of course he would direct an MCU movie in the future that he did 2022, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So, yeah. But anyway, we'll get into the story of how Darkman came to be. Darkman is very underrated, highly underrated movie though. This is before Liam Neeson, was in The Phantom Menace, before he was in taking all those action movies he does now. I think this is way before that. But Darkman is an awesome movie. Like I said, there are some issues, but I'll get more into that to review. Let's just get started. For the production, the idea for Darkman developed from a short story Sam Raimi had written about a man who could change his face. I think Raimi wanted to direct a superhero movie or make a superhero film. Now, Sam Raimi came from, about himself, the whole thing at Darkman was his idea, But before Darkman, he directed films like, it's called It's a Murder. Especially, I think he's known for The Evil Dead 1 and 2. Yeah, he's known for directing those. So he's basically a horror movie director. Yeah. But he wanted to do Darkman. He even wanted to direct The Shadow. Make The Shadow, who was also a dark character as well. Kind of like with the Cloak and Dagger as well. But Darkman is a hat and a trench coat and stuff with a hideous face. But then he's shouting to take his mask off and back to a regular face. But anyway, that movie will come back in 1994, starring Alec Baldwin. But anyway, it was written by a man who changed his face. The story drew elements from the Phantom of the Opera, the Elephant Man, and the Shadow. It was based on short stories Raimi wrote that paid homage to the Universal horror films of the 1930s. Raimi had previously sought the film rights to The Shadow or Batman. When rejected, he decided to write his own superhero movie, so he decided to, of course, create Darkman, because he couldn't get the rights to those. Raimi was also inspired by the Universal horror films of the 1930s and 1940s because they made me feel the hideous nature of the hero, and at the same time drew me to him. I went back to the idea of the man who was noble and turns into a monster. He originally wrote a 30-page short story titled Darkman, and then developed into a 40-page treatment. At this point, according to Raimi, it became the story of a man who had lost his face and had to take on other faces, a man who battled criminals using this power. It also became more of a treasure love story rendition of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. 1987, Raimi submitted the treatment to Universal Pictures, which they liked. Greenlit a budget in a range of $8-12 million, and suggested that he get a screenwriter to flesh out the story. For the writing, he got a screenwriter, Joshua Goldwyn. The more Raimi worked, the more Darkman became a crime-fighting figure like Batman, a non-superpowered man here. It was a hideous thing who fights crime. As he becomes the hideous thing, it became more like the Phantom of the Opera, the creature who wants the girl, but who was too much of a beast to have her, according to Raimi. The process of developing his treatment so far going too faster. His screenplay was difficult, with Raimi hiring ex-Navy SEAL Chuck Fraser based on his work on Navy SEALs. He wrote the first draft, and then Raimi's brother, Ivan, a doctor who wrote drafts for the 2 through 4 with Sam. Ivan made the medical aspects and scientific elements, were authentic as possible given the nature of the story. As Raimi and his producing partner Robert Tebbutt progressed through various drafts, they realized they had potential franchise on their hands. Universal brought screenwriting brothers Daniel and Joseph Goldwyn to work on the script. According to Daniel, they were presented with the various drafts and lots of little story documents. There was just one material every draft seemed to go in many directions. Goldwyn said that they spent a lot of time talking and pulling together a way of making the story work. I think that mostly, as Goldwyn is saying, we were talking in terms of the nuts and bolts of the story. The Goldwyns added new lines of dialogue, new characters, and bits of action. The studio still wasn't satisfied, so the Raimi brothers wrote drafts 6 through 12 before they had shooting the script. Raimi wanted to emphasize painting Darkman's arc over the course of the film, saying, "I decided to explore a man's soul. In the beginning, a sympathetic, sincere man. In the middle, a vengeful man committing hideous acts against his enemies. And at the end, a man of self-hatred for what he has become, most drifted into the night, into a world apart from everyone he knows, and all the things he loves." Originally, Universal meant a significant budget increase for Raimi, allowing him to design and build a laboratory set for Darkman, and afforded helicopters and professional stuntmen to film the cinematic helicopter chase through the city. He was eventually given $14 million to work with, includes longer schedule and much more effective work. Visually, the filmmaker was interested in paying homage to the Universal horror films of the 1930s. Production designer Randy Sear remarked, "If you look at Darkman's lab he moves on into, which is an old warehouse, what was on his mind was Dr. Frankenstein. There were a number of references visually to those films. Raimi consistently wanted to tone his style because of a desire to get into the characters' heads and follow them as real human beings in extraordinary circumstances. McDormand and Neeson worked closely in reversals, rewriting these 3 love scenes that had together after he becomes Darkman. They got through these scenes according to the actors by depending on each other's knowledge, leader, and each other. Principal photography began filming on April 19, 1999 and wrapped up on August 10, 1999. The film was shot on location in Los Angeles and Toronto and Santa Clara Studios in Santa Clara, California. Raimi said directing McDormand was very difficult with the actress, Frances McDormand. I think people know her for a movie called Fargo. I remember my aunt telling me that was a good movie. I'd never seen it before. Raimi said, "Apparently I didn't know Fran as well as I thought I did. The reason it was difficult was they were competitions of the best movie to make different, arguing, trying to make the best picture possible. We did come across disagreements, but they were very healthy, so I guess they didn't have long. She felt like she didn't even, do a good job in the movie. Because she didn't want to be, the damsel in distress." Durant's finger collection developed over the Raimi brothers drafts. The director wanted a specific trademark for the character, one that hinted at a military background. Neeson worked in 10-piece prosthetic makeup for 18 hours. Neeson worked in 10-piece prosthetic makeup for hours. He saw lengthy time spent in extensive makeup as a challenge and liked the idea of working behind a mask on camera, and just one of the possibilities of what he entailed. What that entailed. He and makeup effects designer Tony Gardner did tests using specific gloves, glues, foams, and bandage coverings. They also timed how fast they could apply the prosthetic makeup and put the costume on. Neeson worked with the costume designer on his outfit, including the cloak. The hardest part for the actor was speaking with false teeth, and ended up doing a lot of work on my voice. And I didn't want the false teeth to move because Darkman has this teeth, teeth are falling out, Post-production. Raimi Tebbutt ran conflicts with the studio during post-production. The director had a problem with the editor. The studio signed him in 8 weeks in a similarly rough cut. He was not following Raimi's storyboard. The editor had a nervous breakdown and left. Early previous screenings did not go well as people laughed in the wrong place and complained about lack of a happy ending. Universal told Raimi that some rated Darkman the worst film they ever seen. According to the studio, the film was one of the worst scoring pictures in the Universal's history. Then 2 previous screenings, one with Danny Elfman's score, with Tebbutt remembers. The experience of Darkman was very difficult for Sam and me. It isn't a picture we thought it should be, based on the footage we shot and all that. The studio got nervous in some kind of wild thing and made us take them out, which was unfortunate. Raimi did like the brilliant marketing campaign that the studio came up with, realizing producers in advance with a silhouette of the main character in question. Who is Darkman? According to the director, the marketing made the film a moneymaker. And the music of the film, though, released by Enrico, the music score is done by David Elfman. Of course, like I said, Danny Elfman, I've probably mentioned him many times in my other superhero reviews. Like he did the music score for Batman in '89 and Batman Returns. Batman '89 really, Tim Burton's Batman really got him to do this, where he did scores for some of the Flash TV series. I think the main theme for that and Dick Tracy, and of course Darkman. He did score for superhero films like Hulk. Also, he would work with Sam Raimi again on some other films, but for superhero it was Spider-Man 1 and 2. I think Spider-Man 3 they had a falling out, so I think it ended up being Christopher Young doing the music score for that movie. But he did, I guess make up that relationship with him, his friendship with him, because eventually, Danny Elfman did the music score for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Elfman set up his score, again, old-fashioned and melody, brought away that I'm crazy about. Sam Raimi has a wonderful visual style that lends itself early to music. It was an enormous relief writing long extended musical sequences, something which is very rare in modern films. No reason to hold back on this one. All tracks are written by Danny Elfman. There are all 14 tracks of the film. Decent first action film in the manual, Darkman received generally positive reviews from critics and commercially successful, grossing $48 million above his $14 million budget. The financial success spawned 2 direct-to-video sequels, Darkman 2, The Return of the Ram, and Darkman 3, Darkman, as well as comic books, video games, and action figures. Neeson did not respond to his work with direct-to-video sequels. Yeah, I already mentioned some stuff. For the merchandise, Darkman has been subject to 2 Marvel comic series or movie adaptations, numerous novels, as well as video games published by Ocean Software. Produced 2 different Halloween masks for Darkman character after the film was released. Merchandise for the character all but disappeared for close to a decade until Subway Toys obtained the rights to make a Darkman action figure. You had comic books, you had novels for Darkman. I know they had like a TV pilot, but I heard the pilot was not very good. I think it might be on YouTube, the pilot, but I heard it wasn't good. And like I said, 2 sequels. They did not start Lemmy Neeson. Instead, they started was Arnold Falasso, who starred as Darkman in those movies. But again, the film was directed by Sam Raimi, screenplays by Chuck Rivera, Sam Raimi, Ivan Reitman, Daniel Goldman, Joshua Goldman, stars by Sam Raimi, produced by Robert Tappert. Oh, okay, yeah, he worked on Raimi. I'm sorry, not Sam Raimi. Yeah. He worked with John Woo, as I said. He's an executive producer on Hard Target, starring Van Damme, and on Time Cop, so he worked on Army of Darkness, so he did work with Sam Raimi. Time Cop and Hard Target, those are John Paul Van Damme movies. Cinematographies were Bill Pope. Also, did the cinematography for Army of Darkness, which was, I think, the 3rd Evil Dead movie, and Clueless, and Bedazzled, starring Brendan Fraser, and Spider-Man 2, and Men in Black 3. Edited by Bud S. Smith. Bud S. Smith. And David Straven. His music is by Danny Elfman. Like I said, he's mostly known for working with he's known for working for Danny with I can't even remember, Tim Burton. Sorry. It's distributed by Universal Pictures. It was released August 24th, 1990 in the United States. It's 96 minutes long. The budget to make the film was $14 million, and the box office made $48.8 million. Now for the cast, you have Lemmy Neeson as Dr. Peyton Westlake, Darkman. Frances McDormand as Julia Hastings. I also remember her in a movie called Mississippi Burning with Gene Hackman and William Dafoe. Yeah. Good actors. And Colin Farrell as Louis Strick Jr. He was probably the weakest character for me in the movie. Yeah. Larry Drake, who is Robert Durant, G. Durant. who's a ruthless and sadistic mob boss. And there will be spoilers in here, by the way. Nelson Muddy as Yaki, Peyton Lab's assistant, and Ted Raimi plays Rick Epstein. Ted Raimi, he is, of course, Sam Raimi's brother. Ted Raimi would also go on to be, I think, in many of his other brothers' movies, Sam's movies, I guess, including, in the Evil Dead as well, the Evil Dead movies, and of course, as Hoffman, remember J.K. Simmons saying Hoffman in the Spider-Man films, all three of them. And of course, it's murder, so he's done other movies with his brother, with Sam Raimi. He was in Army of Darkness 2, and he was a man on the street on Hard Target. I think I remember him, he had a little cameo in that scene. Because Sam Raimi, I think, worked a little bit on Hard Target, but I heard there were some issues with him and John Woo, because the studio wanted him to work on the film, and there were some issues with it, I guess. I don't really know all that well, but yeah. I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, he was a skeptic in the audience of Oz and the Great and Powerful. So he's a bit, so Ted Raimi, like I said, is Sam Raimi's brother. Nicholas Worth as Polly Masula, Robert Duran's henchman, Polly. Dan Hicks as Skip. One of his left leg is false, which is a machine gun that comes out of it. Jessica Lawrence Ferguson as Eddie Black. Russell H. Hopwood as Rudy. Dan Bell as Sound, a henchman of Durant's. Arson Sony, Tempered as Homepet. Bridget Hoffman as Computer Voice. This is Raimi's brother Ivan and director John. He also have director John Landis have cameos as the hospital staff. While Jenny Archer plays a doctor, plays Dr. treating Wesley Burns, and John Landis, he's known for directing some movies. He directed National Lampoon's Animal House, I guess. Yeah, and he directed The Blues Brothers, An American Werewolf from London. I've seen that, and Beverly Hills Cop 3. So I don't like it coming to America. So he's worked with Eddie Murphy a bit. Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 3. That sucks. That movie sucked, in my opinion. But John Landis has cameo in the movie. Neil McDonald. Oh, he did a cameo in Darkman? I didn't even realize that. Doc Parker must produce a small cameo. And some other people that guest star in them, that have a guest appearance in the movie. And also you have Bruce Campbell, who, has a cameo, which I'll say spoiler, it is at the end of the film. But Bruce Campbell, of course, he's worked on the Evil Dead movies. Yeah. Bruce Campbell was Ash in those films. And of course he was in the Spider-Man films 2 and 3. He kind of played supporting roles in those, Yeah. Okay. So now let me get to the plot synopsis. Well, let's see. Like I said, there's a video game based on the movie. In the side-scrolling platformer, the player controls Darkman. A superhero can jump, kick, and punch as well as swing from the rope. During exercises between levels, and in most levels, Darkman's goal is to defeat the boss at the level before the time limit runs out. Trying to enter the plot of the film, Darkman can use masks to impersonate the various gangsters who are responsible for his disfigurement. But each disguise dissolves after being exposed to sunlight for too long. While in disguise, Darkman gains both a different appearance as well as the special ability of whoever he is impersonating. Between levels, Darkman must photograph a different gangster before he can make a mask of them. These scenes involve moving the cruiser to take a picture of the gangster. The better a photo, the more time Darkman experiences to complete the level. The final level is similar to the end of the film that takes place on a skyscraper under construction as Darkman fights for his life. Yeah, a game made by Ocean. Like I said, for superhero movies back then and back in the 90s, making video games out of these characters kind of was a big deal at the time. But for what the movie is about is that scientist Peyton Westlake, who was brutally attacked, disfigured, and left for dead by a ruthless mobster and his gang led by Robert Durant. And after his girlfriend, attorney Julia Hastings, runs a full of corporate developer Louis Strack Jr., who is planning to build through the future, but he's doing some illegal stuff. And after treatment to cure him of his burn injuries fails, Westlake develops his superhuman abilities, gives him strength, and he's invulnerable to pain. So he developed, which also unintended side effects of rendering him mentally unstable and borderline psychotic. Because he has all this rage in him. Consumed with vengeance, he decides to hunt down those who disfigured him. So that's the plot synopsis. And like I said, there'll be spoilers in here too. We're in 20 minutes, okay. So if you've never seen Darkman, don't spoil this for yourself if you've never seen it, okay? Don't want to hear anybody in the comments say I've never seen this movie. If you haven't seen it, don't watch this review. I'll put spoilers in the description below too, okay? In the description box below. So make sure you always read that before you watch this video. My videos. Because I do spoilers in my reviews, so I just give you a heads up on that. But anyway, the movie kind of starts off. The movie starts off with Durant, with Robert Durant and his gang, going to meet, I guess, a rival boss, and I guess they want a part of his gang, a part of his town or whatever. And of course, this guy does not want to have none of it. He tells him right now. He tells him, number one, you're not going to take this place. Number two, no one comes in here and threatens me, Durant. So you're not going to come here. You're not going to get my place. And Durant just looks at his guy. And of course, the guy that has the broken leg, the false leg, this guy pulls out some machine gun. He shoots at people. They try to shoot up at these guys. Durant has his own pistol, like Smith and Wesson. Shoots a guy in the head, and then shoots, the driver in the head, and they kill all the men, and he just doesn't know what to do. So, they grab the rival boss, and Durant, who smokes cigars, which he used a chipper or whatever you want to call it to cut the cigar. So Durant was like, number one, I really don't like to lose my temper, and Durant just grabs his fingers and cuts them off, starts cutting them off, and you see the guy in pain, and then you get the opening titles, it is, the theme is very monstrous. I would say it's depressing, but it's dark for Darkman. From a Darkman, you would feel a bit of a creepy theme, a little bit. No, the theme for watching it, and you see visuals of Darkman, and his madness. But then we get on to meeting Dr. Peyton Westlake, who is developing a new type of skin to help burn victims, but cannot get past a flaw that causes the skin to repeatedly scream after 99 minutes. Him and his sidekick at the lab, or partner at the lab, are trying to do this, but it's not working, because every time they're trying to get new skin, like they try to get a nose, but apparently it's not working. The nose burns. His girlfriend, who was Julia Hastings, you see them just kind of dating, looking at old pictures of themselves. You see pictures of looking like a hippie, and her looking like a nerd schoolgirl. And of course, they have that where they make love, And Julia, who's like his attorney, discovers that the Basil Mender, an incriminating document that proves developer Louis Jr. has been charged by members of the zoning commission, because he wants to build his city of the future. She confronts him about it, and Julie tells her that he plans a brand new city that he calls the City of the Future, creating a census number of new jobs. He also warns him that that Robert Durant wants the document for himself. But that morning, before Julie goes to talk to Shrek, she talks with Peyton, and Peyton talks about, we need to get married. We practically live together. We should be getting married. We've been together for so many years. But she says, just let me think about it, Peyton. Okay, I'll give you time to think about it. He accidentally puts, coffee, but that paper would, but accidentally, I guess you can say he took the paper for her. Him and Yak-2 are testing the skin when the light goes out. Well, they're testing the skin, and the skin is worse. Or something goes wrong, the lights go out, and he's going to make a call. It works, but they're very short-lived. When he tries to answer the phone, one of the men grabs his hand, and Durant has his men kill, Durant's, they punch Livingston in the face, punch Peyton in the face a couple times. He's like, what do you want? He's like, we want to know where those building documents are, where the Preston, Blake, but that's what those documents are to be able to see to the future. He's like, I'm not really a patient man, please just do what we say, it won't hurt you. Like, smoke a cigar. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then, they beat him up, he grabs Livingston to the class, and beats his head to the class. They chose Yaki, they put a bag over his head, and Ted Raimi, who sadistically enjoys killing people, his character, just really shoots him in the head, like, no! But they grab him. He puts his hands on his acid ball on the side of it, and it burns his hands really bad. They grab him again, and they put his face in the acid. They find the document, and they break the lab to explode. Peyton's able to get out of there, but he's like, his face is torn off, his hands are just bloody burned, and he sets it to burn, like this little duck, well, whatever you want to call it, this cracky duck that is rolling like this, because Durant turns the propane off, tank off, which will explode. He tries to, Peyton gets to it, but he's barely injured, and before he can reach it, the duck hits the bomb, hits it, and it blows up. And Julie sees this, because she shows up, and Durant and his team and his gang just leave. And she sees it blows up. You see Peyton's body just on fire and fall into the water. And you see Julie, quickly emerge from, to wearing, being at a funeral, and she's just nearly even passes out. I said, I can't bury a guy. He's buried into pieces. Basically, he's known as a John Doe. He ends up in the hospital. He's subjected to a radio treatment. The doctor talks about that he can't feel no pain. She even tries to stab him with the pen. He can't feel it. And, he's just, on the treatment, he's just going sideways. And this way you have John Landis and Sam Raimi making a cameo. But the woman that stars in it, like I said, she was in American Werewolf London. That was also directed by John Landis. And Raimi, like I said, has a cameo in there as a doctor. But this also gives him great strength. To avoid, keeps his injuries keeps his injuries and stuff. I'm not saying, but it gives him some strength. And eventually, Peyton wakes up, and his rage comes in. His rage gives him strength as well. He breaks out, and she's like, "He's my patient." She's like, "Move out of the damn way!" And she sees him. And he sees the window open, raining, and then you see Peyton, just walking in the rain. With the bandage all over his face, bandage on his face, and he sees Julie. He's like, he can't speak. Like, Julie. He tries to, does go walk up to her. And he's like, Julie, it's me, but she can't hear him. Julie doesn't know who that is. She's just scared and freaked out, so she runs back in her apartment. It's like, and you have some of the visuals for 1990 are bizarre, but it works for this movie. As he's looking at like a whirlpool of water, and you can see his eyes going through the water through this effect. It's weird, but it's very good, I think. But it's like who has nowhere to go. Eventually, he establishes his own lab in a condemned building. This is where he starts to wear the trench coat and stuff and the hat. Yeah. And he looks at his face. And just his acting here, I think, is great. I think when he needs something, does a perfect job, especially with the emotions of being either angry or sad or if outside days he's looking at me, he's like, no, oh God, no, looking at his face. And he's trying to work on rebuilding his face of his original face. He's trying to, trying to create the, since he has this skin for a brand new face. But he starts working on that, and he wants to also plan his revenge on Durant and his men. So he uses time to apply his revenge. He goes, Julie's at like this charity auction or this party, and Strack has a dance with her, and he's thinking, Peyton's like Darkman. While Peyton is like watching her do the event. Then he sees, Ted Raimi, who I guess I would think that him and maybe Durant are lovers. I would assume Durant is gay. I'm just assuming, not really sure. But Durant, by the way, also keeps a box of fingers, which he enjoys having that collection of fingers. But anyway, he sees him there and he remembers what he did. He was the most addicted one that enjoyed watching Peyton suffer, so Peyton grabs him, like over a Quasar, and he's like, tell me where the rest of the men are. He's like, again, Rick. He forced him to reveal identities of all the other men, of all of them. He's like, I'm Robert Durant. And then he puts his head up, you see him just, head going up on the sewer, cars come, he's like, ah! And cars are passing, eventually the truck comes by, ah! Kills him. Then he starts to impersonate them by doing this. He watches them. He's taking pictures of one of his men. He's like seeing him making a deal. He takes pictures of them, including Durant himself, taking all the pictures of them, setting up. And what Darkman can do is also impersonate other people with their face. He has a talent for impersonation. But anyway, I forget what the big guy's name was. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Polly. Polly's the shaved man. It's one tattoo with a dagger on his neck. He's like kind of overweight one of the gang. But first he goes after Polly, pretending to be him. And he goes, Polly, it's like he's able to, just put a napkin over his face when he's sleeping, pass him out for a while. For a good couple hours, for all day, and, Darkman comes home, he's putting his mask on his face on, checks the time, and then goes and makes this deal, and Darkman sets it up to where he's going to Rio, that he has a suitcase, bags packed, and as Polly, he steals, Darkman as Polly steals the money, and Durant assumes that Polly betrayed him, and he's like, Polly, oh, where's the money at? Where's the drop? You took the money. He's like, no, I didn't take the money. I swear to God, I don't know how I got here. And he's like, dressed like in a blue tuxedo, like and having all that, like Darkman set that up. He's like, oh, God, I swear to God, Mr. Durant, I've been sleeping the whole time. I don't know what I've been doing. He's like, And he thinks he's betrayed him. He's like, you got a plane ticket, you got clothes, so you're planning to go somewhere. He's like, you betrayed me. He's like, enjoy your flight. And they throw him out the window to his death. And this lady screams, and then she sees Darkman sitting there as Polly just sitting there looking. She's like, ah! And then his face starts to it goes 99 minutes. So his face starts burning off. So he has to run off, and this lady's like, ah! But he gets away. Eventually he goes up to Julie as himself. It takes maybe like a couple of days for his original face to come back. To go, and he does. He's like, Julie, it's me. It's me. No, I'm not dead. The doctors didn't tell you that. They just didn't tell you. You didn't know. And, he gives her a hug. He's just happy to see Peyton. And he goes out to, you see him going out to eat with her, talking about, Julie, would you still love me even if I look disfigured or different? She's like, why do you ask me that? Told her that he was in a coma, they just didn't let her know. She says try to comfort her, but she's like, but he keeps his disfigurement from her, doesn't tell her anything. But, Westlake he's trying to work more on the face, trying to do more stuff, working more on his lap. He goes crazy. He's like, what am I, just a freak? And the cat is this cat there. And the cat, he's like, I'm a freak. What's that? I'm a freak. I'm a freak. I'm a freak. Dances. He's crazy. Like, the rage comes, starts almost destroying his lab. He's like, what have I become? After he kills Polly, kills, like, you see him in the rain, and standing on a building, just sitting outside of the building, saying, oh God, what have I become? Then when he's in his lab losing his temper, like I said, the moments with his rage, this insanity of his, he just snaps, starts destroying things. He's like, God, whatever. He's like, Peyton, boy, calm yourself down, boy, you're a scientist, be level-headed. And then he sees that, his new machine's working. But he ends up going to, I'll make sure I'm following you right at plot subs here, sorry. Yes, I know, I look on Wikipedia because I want to make sure I'm getting everything right about the movie. But he goes on a date at a carnival with Julie. They're riding some rides. Some of this stuff is like I said, bizarre. But, he's trying to say that he's going to go back to the doctor. He can't. She wants to spend the whole day with him. He's like, he can't. But like she tells him that strap means nothing to her. She has no attraction to him whatsoever. He was just comforting her to make her feel better. And she was just dancing with him for fun. But, had no feelings toward him whatsoever. But anyway, at the end of the car, he's like, I'm going to win you a pink elephant. So he plays at the fair, one of the games. He finally hits it. And he's all, fucking look like me again, or something like that. He just kind of snaps. And he tells the guy, pink elephant, please, the big one. He's like, no, you were behind the line, you didn't do it right. I was like, really? I was standing next to my girlfriend. He's like, well, you ain't getting it, pal. I was like, no, would you please, the pink elephant? No, pal, no way. No, the fucking pink elephant, he says. He gets mad. He's like, didn't you hear me, weirdo? I said no, and then he puts his two fingers like, no, pokes him, and he's like, just gets mad. He's like, and then just Peyton grabs his fingers and snaps it and pushes the guy. He's like, he throws the pin. He's like, take that fucking pig out. So no, and he flees right back to the building. She follows him. His face begins to melt. She follows him. She discovers his lab and she goes, Peyton, she still loves him regardless. She's like, Peyton, I love you. Peyton, why didn't you tell me? I love you, Peyton. I can help you. I can help you right now. And he's just hiding. He kind of looks like Frank Krueger a little bit, but, you still got his eyes in that humanity. Is that he just does not want Julie to see him like this, what he's become. And it was very sad, Julie, tells Chad that she can no longer see him before discovering the stolen. She discovers the stolen memoir, the paper on the desk that had coffee on it. And spoiler alert, you find out that he's working with Robert D. Durant, that he's working with Durant, that they've been working together. He does jobs for him. And he says, I'm building the city of the future. He's like, are you going to kill me? He's like, no, Julia. She reveals Wesley he's still alive. Doesn't tell him, where he's at. He's like, he's still alive, But as long as he has his paper, nothing can be filed against him. But he's like, bring Robert into his office because he wants to build a city future. He will commit crimes, or he doesn't like loose ends. And to him, there's two loose end problems. He's got that. Two loose ends he's got. That is Julia and Peyton. He's like, Westlake is still alive, and Durant doesn't believe. He's like, what? Westlake is not alive. He's more dead. Oh, I forgot to mention. There's also a scene where he becomes Durant himself. To get revenge on Durant, like I said, he learns to impersonate voices. I'm sorry, I go over my reviews. Sorry. He's making a call his house about business, and you see the finger of the boxes he's got in there, and Darkman is recording it. He's like this. It'll just be fine. It'll just be fine. Then he's recording the tape and imitates Durant's voice. It'll just be fine. Becomes Durant and goes to Chinatown to make this deal. But before he does that, he goes to with a gun to a gas station, robs the gas station. My name is Robert G. Durant. And then the cops say, are you Robert G. Durant? He's like, yes. And then they're like, you're under arrest. And he goes to make that deal, shaving on his face. And he just sounds slow. He's like, the deal, and you better give me my money before I do something bad to you, before I finish this cigar. Before I finish this cigar. And he's like, okay, Robert, we'll do that. Okay, Bob, you win. So he gives him the money. They go out, and Durant's like, I was like, where's one of his henchmen at? It's like the guy with no leg says, with a false leg says, I thought he was with you. He sees him, then he sees Darkman as himself, and they see each other, and they're walking through this door, the door that can, when you open it, it goes around. And he's like, shoot him! No, shoot him! Shoot him! And the guy's like looking in the mirror, huh? And they fight a little bit. He's like, shoot him! Shoot him! And by accident, he shoots his own boss. Darkman gets away. He's like, Durant gets hurt. And the guy's like, I don't know who to shoot. But he's able to run out of there real quick because his face starting to go off. He's like, Mr. Durant, I'm sorry. And Durant punches him in the face. They grab their guns. They start shooting at Darkman. Eventually he takes the Durant mask off, runs away. And there's a scene where, they just put the, scene right here where they put their guns up, And then you get the whole thing with him being at the carnival that I mentioned before and talking with Strack about, him building the city of the future. Eventually he tells Westlake, and like I said, it was previously before where Westlake, Durant and Strack are talking. He's like, listen, Robert, get rid of him. He's like, well, but we don't know where he's at. Well, we do have a guy, and that is Julia. Durant intercepts Julia, the kidnapper, for attacking Westlake. Well, Westlake is just looking. And then the men show up, they grab her, and he's like, Julia! And two of his men is allowed to look at kill Westlake. They shoot at him. He's in a helicopter with a grenade gun, or launcher, or whatever, shooting it at him. Darkman is just running in his trench coat and hat. And two of his men come into the lab to locate and kill Westlake. But Darkman, jumps on the guy and puts his face on the mask on the other henchman, so knocks him out. Then he sees the mask, and it's Peyton, and he's like, but he can't. It's a mask. He's like, but he shoots his own men down. Shoots his own, I guess his own friend, kills his own friend. He's like, oh no, he's like this. And then, Darkman comes at him and smiles like, nice shooting. He's like, and he's like, punches him, like, you've been a bad boy. Knocks him out and sets the place to blow up. And Darkman goes up there to run, and Durant's like, pow, shooting at him. And then, and the henchman gets up, runs to go stop the bomb, like, with the duck, heading toward the bomb. He sees Lynx's, but he's like, but it's a hologram. He's like, huh? Turns around, sees the real duck, and then Oh, too late. Blows up. He lands to the helicopter to see if they can find Wesley, for they can find Peyton, but Peyton shows up like, Durant, I want to get you, and then he throws one guy off to his death. And then Durant, tries to shoot at him. Not shoot at him, but, punches Darkman, pulls his mask, was like, knock him out, and then he grabs onto this hook, the rope that's on this hook, grabs it before he can die, and he's like, take him down, and he's got these cars almost hitting him, and he runs past the truck, on top of a truck. It's like, The idea, I thought it was funny that when he's run from the helicopter when he first starts off, he's like this, you gotta be shitting me. He's like, John, he's just running. Eventually he's able to get to he's like, you're next, Durant, So he ties the hook on the truck, and the truck goes under a bridge, and the helicopter follows it, and Durant dies in the explosion, or you can assume, when I get to people with it. But anyway, he's like, burn in hell, Durant. It's a cable. Sorry that he touched it, but he impersonates Durant. You can just tell. Because no one can survive exploding in a helicopter. But he's exploding, and Wesley, reveals his, sorry, Wesley meets up with Strack as Durant, and Captain Julia says, I think the world will kill us if one turn he's just gone. But before he can try to, kill Julia or do anything about it, they're talking about the city of the future, and he tells them, so how are the kids? Oh, they look up to me. But then, he knows, he's like, Robert. Jack says, you have no kids, and he takes the mask off, and you see Darkman's face. He's like, yeah, you can't get me, and he starts going over the top, saying, this is the city of the future, this is my city, I built it. He's teasing Darkman, he's like, you are one ugly son of a bitch. And he's teasing Darkman, Darkman's trying to get him. They're at the top of this unfinished building. He just teases Darkman a bit, even starts, getting a nail gun to shoot him. Julia pushes the guy who's shooting at Peyton, but the guy gets back and pushes her back up. I mean, we could have had her, even though, she could have just, instead of trying to, getting the mask off of her face, or, the rope out of her face, she could have just kicked it off and killed him. I mean, come on, they're trying to kill you. You at least have the right to do that, but he pushes her. She does end up being the damsel in distress, seems almost falling to her death, and Durant is shooting at him, and he's like, you're just a freaking, he's ready to comes, even though his hand is on he shoots him with a nail gun, nails in his hand, he's like, gets out, punches him, gives him a few punches, and Darkman goes chases him himself. Well, he's like, Julia, and he gets on the cable, kind of like he's Tarzan or George the Jungle or something like that, but anyway, but he grabs Julia, saves her, then he jumps back, does this George the Jungle thing, and kicks Strack. And he's like, wait a minute, Wesley, you can't kill me, you'd be just as bad as me, you can't kill me, you couldn't live with yourself. And he's like, Darkman's like, drops him to his death, and he says, I'm learning to live with a lot of things. Julie tries to convince Tring that she can, that he can turn his own life, but tells that he's changed definitely as well. He's realizing that this is who he is now, and he can't change that. He's like, well, Julie, I think I can live with it, but I don't think anybody else can. He's like, Julie, I'm sorry. Then he runs, she's like, Peyton, don't leave. And Peyton's like, and he turns around to Darkman and says, Peyton is no more. And runs off. This is where he goes to the Bruce Campbell disguise. And then he narrates, I am everywhere, I am everyone and no one. Everywhere and nowhere. Call me Dark. and as he walks away, his Bruce Campbell matte face on. You know, just that line, I am everyone, no one, everywhere, nowhere, call me Darkman. And the movie ends there. So yeah, a great movie. We'll get to my problems with it here in a little bit, but that's Darkman. But if you know the movie, you know, if you've seen it before, you know everything that happens in the movie, so don't always have to explain it. But I just love talking about a movie. Anyway, so for Darkman, look, sadly nothing on this DVD. You just get the trailer, maybe cast bios and stuff, or production notes talking about how the movie came to be. You know, it's a shame though. They do. Oh no, I think this might be out on Blu-ray. I need to get the Blu-ray of it. I've seen the Blu-ray. The cover looks really great for Darkman. Definitely love to see interviews with the cast. Sam Raimi, you know, Frances McDormand, Liam Neeson, and Larry Drake. You know, or even Danny Elfman. How was it to do the music for this film? And you know, Sam Raimi talking about this movie and stuff. But yeah, that'd be interesting to hear. But anyway, I love this movie. I think Darkman is definitely an underrated classic. It definitely feels like an underrated movie. I think it's a 90s cult classic. It's a cult classic in my opinion. It should be. It is definitely one of the best superhero movies ever made. I'm sorry, I put it over Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, don't get me wrong, it's still one of the best. But I prefer this, probably. But I will say, I do have some issues. Before I get to that though, I do like the story. I think the story is very good. I like how Sam Raimi directed it, and I think he did a good job making his own superhero. It's a shame though, because I don't think he made the sequel after this. Yeah, everything after this, you know, Darkman just is no more. Darkman is just, yeah, apparently is everywhere, but became nowhere and no one. And eventually he's become that, you know, after all these years. But definitely, you know, this film deserves, you know, another movie. I wish we could have got a sequel with Liam Neeson. I think it would have been better. But first of all, the story, the writing I think is really good. The cast I think is really good. I do think Liam Neeson is great as Darkman, Peyton Wesley. Yeah, he's just an innocent man. He's trying to help people out, burning victims. He's just being a scientist, doing a job until, you know, an asshole, an asshole businessman who hires a crazy man to hires an insane guy to murder him, and he just becomes an innocent victim. He becomes this way for no reason. Even though he didn't do anything to these people, he just told them. So you definitely feel his pain, you feel sadness for him. I forgot to mention one scene though where his hand gets burned, and again, it feels like they took my hand. It's just his pain, his emotion, his rage. You feel so sorry for him. I feel sorry for him at least. I feel sorry for this character. He's a tragic character that didn't deserve what happened to him, and you want him to get his revenge, and he does at the end of the day. Durant's a great villain. Yeah, fantastic villain, very scary, very intimidating, just very calm, cool, collective, and a psychopath. You know, a psychopath who loves collecting people's fingers and cutting them off, keeps them in a box, and smokes cigars and enjoys torturing people. You just know he's playing evil. And the villains are good too, very over the top. The film is very over the top and fun. But yeah. But I think the music of Danny Elfman is very good. Like I said, it's a very creepy, monstrous theme. Gives me chills down my spine. And Frances McDormand, she does a good job. Yeah, she could have done a little more something. I do wish she did, but I don't think she was horrible. I'm like, Raimi, you need to give your females in a movie to actually do something badass, you know. Larry Drake was a great though as Durant. Oh, he does come back in the sequel, by the way, because the sequel was Darkman 2, The Return of Durant. But it's the movies, so reality is out of the question when it comes to movies. So it's fantasy. But okay, nobody could really survive a helicopter crash. But Danny Elfman's music score is great. I think the cinematography is good. I like the makeup. Darkman's makeup looks great. Like I said, it's kind of like very cruder, but excellent makeup. Liam Neeson, I know, went through, I'm sure, plenty of hours with his makeup. He does a great job with the bandages on. I like the trench coat, you know, and the hat. It really works with the character. Okay. It's 96 minutes long. It's only 1 hour and 36 minutes long. It's a pretty short film. It's really good pacing. It's got a good story. It really has good pacing, I think. It's, you know, like that kind of. Feels like that with this movie. But I get it. It tells the story. It's a good story. Good cast. Good film. Great special effects. You know, Great practical explosions too for the 90s. Very cinematography, good editing, good action scenes, good over the top, especially the lines about Liam Neeson is great. You know, sometimes I try to make sure I can understand it because he's speaking to the bandit, but when you do understand him, and his laugh is just, or when he's raging out, that's just, or going insane. You know, it's great. I think he does so good at it. You know, it's not laughable. It works in my opinion. And when he's sad, you really feel for him. But yeah, good villains too. Well, now I get to my problems. I don't think they should have killed off Durant. I think Durant should have been, you know, more the main villain. I mean, I get it. Every movie, you know, every superhero movie or any movie has somebody who's really they're working for somebody. They're not really the villain. They're working for somebody. You know, I'm not saying that Colin Farrell's, you know, Louis Track was a terrible character. I just didn't care for Louis Track too much. Didn't say the actor was, he didn't do a bad job playing him. He did a good job, but I thought he was just too over the top. You know, saying I'm about to see the future, and he's going about and he's being over the top and stuff. It just didn't work for me. I didn't like the climax at the end. I did like the Darkman killing him. That was cool when Darkman, you know, fighting him. But him making Darkman look foolish, I don't like that. It was a good fight though, and Darkman does kill him. But I just kind of wish it was Durant, and I wish they didn't kill Durant off so easily. I would prefer him a good, fair fight between him and Durant. I wanted him to kick Durant's ass some way, you know, not kill him off in a cheap way. You know, he should have just been trying to kill off right away. Could have just had ending where he's fighting both of them. That would have been more interesting, I think. Just a climax there, like in, you know, Colin Farrell's not abstract, you know, being silly and over the top and, you know, saying, I built the city of the future, and I'm great, and I'm all this, and, you know, I'm this, and blah, you know, him acting over the top. I didn't like that too much. But despite that, I can let it slide. I mean, hell, at least Darkman could take the pain, and Darkman kicks his ass and throws his ass, you know, drops his ass to his fucking death, you know, so, excuse my language, to his death, so. But yeah, still an awesome movie, still bizarre, a crazy, out there kind of movie. You know, I'd rather have more Darkman movies than Raimi Spider movies. That's just me. When he's on Peyton, continue being Darkman and continue trying to find a cure, just a plot, or him saving somebody, or helping people. You know. Yeah. Well, I can understand why maybe Raimi didn't want to make sequels. This is the kind of film that probably didn't need sequels, but of course, it's Hollywood. I mean, the movie, it was going to happen anyway, because the movie did make somewhat back on its budget. It did make money, and that's why you get sequels. Because it was well received. You got positive reviews. A lot of people liked it then. It did make a good amount of decent money back then, and that's why you get sequels and stuff. But I love this movie. But my rating for Darkman, I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 stars. Still, in my opinion, this is my favorite Sam Raimi superhero film. This is still his best one. In my opinion, I give it a thumbs up. You know, I thought Sam Raimi did a great job making Darkman. It's a good movie, great movie, good cast, good story. Just the killing off Durant, and I wish the climax could have been better. And Strax over the topness, so, you know, I just didn't like that. Despite that, I can let it slide. Because at least Darkman, like I said, gets him at the end. So, yeah. But Darkman, awesome movie. Underrated, such an underrated classic in my opinion. Yeah. The best Darkman, great movie. Definitely recommend it if you've never seen it. And anyway, for my next review, I will be reviewing the sequels, by the way. Starting with, I will be reviewing the sequel that came out in 1995, starring Arnold Falasso. Again, I'll probably be watching these movies on Prime Video. So yeah, next will be Darkman 2, The Return of Durant, starring Arnold Falasso. And of course, Larry Drake comes back. But this will be the next review. So, stay tuned for that. So Darkman 2, The Return of Durant. And then of course I'll be reviewing Darkman 3, Die Darkman Die, which is the last Darkman movie. Not the pilot. And then I'll be reviewing The Rocketeer, 1991, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Teenage Mutant Secret of the Ooze, after Darkman 3. Sorry. No, not that one. Fuck. I still got one more 1990 movie to review. pretty much after Darkman. I'm just reviewing the sequels. Just going to, might as well. But, you know, I figured might as well review them. You know, they're short movies anyway. Yeah. But anyway, it'll be Captain America, the 1990 film that came out in December. Then I'll be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, and The Rocketeer for 1991. Anyway, I'm not going to go further than that. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of Darkman in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And if you disagree with me, you prefer his Spider-Man movies over this, that's fine. But just remember this. I don't think without Darkman, I don't think you would have had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films. And I'm not looking at all of those two movies. I hate Spider-Man 3, but Spider-Man 1 2, I love those films. Those are definitely childhood favorites of mine. So don't think I'm saying I hate those movies. No. Those movies are part of my childhood. So, but thank Darkman, thank the Lord for Darkman and Sam Raimi making this movie, that we were able to get those movies. And if you like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I like it, not a perfect movie, but that'll be a review one day in the future down the line. But Darkman, of course, is first because this was his first superhero movie before Spider-Man. That was like the early 2000s. This was 1990, so way before the Spider-Man, way before it. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later. Bye-bye. I'm just kidding. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye.